Hey there. Good morning. Very interesting day today. Uh, we had the Microsoft earnings and things just went ballistic from that. There's a 8% price jump on Microsoft pre-market. And what I have seen typically this time is that most of these companies which report well, initially the stock price goes up and then it comes down. So I'm expecting to see the same with Microsoft. The initial euphoria, once it's over, the price starts coming down. So probably we have touched the peak price for Microsoft. I had thought this was going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, but it turned out to be surprisingly different, a welcome change. That Microsoft continued to go up after the earnings, but definitely, if I look at the other previous earnings, after going up, the price comes down. Of course, there's profit taking that's to be had. And also, markets are on elevated levels. So people are likely to take a little bit of money off the table, and that could send things down a little bit. But quite surprised at the capacity of these companies to be able to come up with margins even after investing heavily in AI hardware, which basically could indicate to us that probably they have let go of a lot of employees and have used automation to a great extent, so that they are now running huge companies with very slim employee footprint, which should probably come back to us in the economic data, maybe a few quarters down the line, or maybe in the next quarter or next month or something like that. We have to see how it goes, but definitely more things to learn. Overall, in terms of the market overview, I think the US stock futures are sharply high, as you can see out here, and global markets are mixed, even though, because European indices are advancing while Asia had a choppy session as investors digested trade headlines and central bank moves. I think the overreaction to the 25% tariff on India, I think it's an overreaction because India basically is an inward-looking country. It's got a huge market, and also the per capita income is very low. I don't see how 25% tariff from US is going to affect India. India doesn't have that much of trade, in my opinion, with the United States. And also for United States, the share of trade with India is, I think, 2.5% or 2% or something in that range, which is very small potatoes compared to the other things. I expect that things should work out well. There's a company which is listed out here on NASDAQ. I'm watching Wipro. WIT is the ticker symbol. I think it has dropped 25% because of this tariff news, but Wipro is basically into software business, and the services are not being tariffed. So I don't see why Wipro should fall. So that could be a bounce back there. Again, personal opinion, not financial advice. I'm looking at buying some of those. The other aspect is the US dollar is rebounding on track for its first monthly gain of the year after strong US growth data, Fed policy, and easing trade war concerns. That's the other thing that I had noticed. If you go to the DXY, let me go into the indicators. Where is my DXY here? Oh, it could be futures. Yeah, DXY. So if you look at DXY, it's continuing to move up and it's doing pretty well. The MACD is also improving. We just put this down a little bit. And yeah, so it's looking pretty good. MACD is also improving. It could cross over. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm looking at. And the dollar strength will burn the effect of tariffs to a certain extent, because the purchasing power increases, and in dollar terms, those products will appear to be cheaper. So that's a very good positive I see out here. And Meta Platforms and Microsoft, they posted stunning quarterly results after the bell yesterday. And actually, Meta blew past expectations with strong profit growth and bullish forward guidance, even as it continues to invest more in AI. So as I said, the forward looking is what we have to look at. So I would expect NVDA to do very well. Microsoft also bet estimates spotlighting robust demand for its cloud and AI products, driving shares sharply higher. in after hours trade, and this morning also it's at around 8% plus. I would like to go and have a look at NVDA and see what NVDA is doing. See, NVDA is up 2.12%, a very strong jump. I think this is a time to pile on to NVIDIA. I might probably buy up a little bit of NVIDIA on the Canadian side today. Now, Fed is holding the rates steady. And let me go into a single window because we already started looking at the charts. So Fed is holding the rate steady, and for the fifth straight meeting, and there is a dissent from two members. I'm going to look at these two members as potential contenders for the Fed chief's role when Jerome Powell retires. And Powell set a cautious note at his press conference, because anyone who understands economics knows that there is no free meal. The tariff is going to come back to bite us sooner rather than later. It all depends on how much inventory has been stocked up in advance and how long that inventory can run. So I still continue to have conviction in economics 101. I'm thinking that the rug pull is coming sooner rather than later. I'm not removing my shorts, but I'm going to enjoy a little bit of the bull ride with a few longs. But I'm not going to go heavily into the longs just to compensate for the losses that are happening on the short side. That's my game plan. I think in terms of what we look forward to, Apple will report the Q3 2025 earnings after market close today. Wall Street expects modest revenue growth of around $89 billion and EPS of somewhere in the range of $1.42 to $1.43. And the focus on the earnings is going to be on iPhone sales, looking for an increase in year-over-year sales based on China demand and promotions. Services segment, we are expecting double-digit growth, and the tariff impact is going to be around 900 million hit to margins this quarter amid ongoing trade policy turbulence. So those are the kind of expectations that I have gleaned from the market. If anything is off these, that's what could impact the share price. In terms of AI developments, I think investors are eager to get details on upcoming Apple Intelligence features, as AI is a crucial market narrative right now. And even companies which are not in AI are having AI elements incorporated so that share price can see a boost. I was talking about Illumina in my latest video. Illumina has got tie-up with NVIDIA, and they're using the Dragon to get more insights into multiomics. So that's going to add value to Illumina shares. So same way, I think Apple has got to have an AI play out here in order to continue to dominate. The days of having just ChatGPT app or some other AI app in the App Store in order to be having AI credentials is over. We need something original coming out of Apple. So that's what the investors are looking for. And the Fed has left the interest rates unchanged at 4.25 to 4.5% range for the fifth straight meeting. So that's going to keep investors guessing. Uncertainty is still there of what's going to happen in the future. So that's a little bit of a negative drag. And the new US-South Korea trade pact will apply a 15% tariff to Korean imports, lower than the initially threatened 25%, while US goods remain duty-free. South Korea commits to $350 billion in US investments and $100 billion in energy purchases. Friends, the way I look at it is that if you have a bully in the block and he goes and shakes down everybody and tells them that they have to buy the biscuits that he is selling, and then they have to also give him money so that he can buy more biscuits to sell to them, then you're going to see that initially people are going to cave in, and later on people are going to gang up so that they can jointly resist. Because in negotiations, they always say win-win is what you have to aim for so that it is sustainable and long-term and everybody is happy. Right now, what we are seeing is a win-lose kind of agreement when you look at it from a global perspective. And when you look at it from the perspective of a US citizen who is a taxpayer, this is an indirect tax of around 15% on them. This is not going to end well, but the question is, how long does it take before everyone realizes that? So this is a shiny object. It's like we used to negotiate in India for vegetables. It was a known fact that when you go to a vegetable vendor and ask what's the price of the tomatoes, he's going to quote you a very high price. So immediately you counter it by asking for 50% off. And ultimately you end up somewhere around 60 or 65%. And you feel good that you have a good deal and the vendor has got a profit. That's exactly what is happening out here. Just a matter of time before people wise up. The 25% tariff on India, 50% on Brazil, and Friday remains the deadline for other major economies to strike deals or face increased tariffs. This rapid fire tariff action, because the impending August 1st deadline, is creating a kind of a problem for a certain set of countries. But the fact that Trump has projected everything as done deals with EU, Japan, South Korea, and all, seems to create a sense that the trade warfare has now ebbed because everybody has agreed to something. But the fact remains that these are not trade deals. These are just frameworks that have been agreed to. No trade deal has been signed to the best of my knowledge. If you guys know trade deals that have been signed, please mention that in the comment section. I would like to upgrade my understanding of the whole thing. But this is where it is overall. I think this is a mirage, and we're going to come out of that after August 1st. We'll see what happens. So oil prices are holding steady on relief for trade agreements, and Nikkei has jumped after Bank of Japan kept rates unchanged and updates inflation outlook. And Samsung suffered a profit decline in its semiconductor business despite high-profile deals with Tesla. So we'll have to see what happens in that area. Because at the end of the day, even if you're a drug dealer, right, you want your clients to be able to be functional so that they can make money to keep on buying more drugs from you. You don't want to kill them by giving them an overload. So all these other countries who are under tariff, they are going to have to figure out a way to survive. And the only way is for them to get up with deals among themselves and sideline the United States, where the deal making is negative. Now, in terms of pre-market movers, Meta is up almost 8%, Microsoft is up 6%, and CVS is up around 7% based on the earnings beat. And Apple is still in focus, but not much action taking place out there. So overall, I would say that the macro sentiment is that the Wall Street is riding a powerful tech AI-driven wave, but questions about the Fed's rate timeline and tariff policy keep volatility high. And personal consumption expenditures index data, which is the Fed's preferred inflation measure, will be released later this morning, and that could spark additional market moves and trade deal blitz, shifting dollar and global central bank decisions dominate the macro landscape overall. So that's the picture that I have as we jump into our charts out here. And already I had mentioned that the futures are looking positive for the open, 0.88% for S&P 500 and 0.12% for NASDAQ futures. But if I go into a day time frame and look at S&P 500, we are still under this diagonal line of resistance. We still have a target of 6,660, and we are moving under that. And for today, the target is resistance is 6,467. That's our resistance. And let me just check it out properly. It's a dynamic line. So 6,467 is the resistance for today. If we break above that, then we'll convert this diagonal line into a support. Pre-market, we're at 6,453. And if we go to NASDAQ, again, the same thing. We still have the divergence going on, the bearish divergence. And we have this diagonal line of resistance, which is going to offer resistance for NASDAQ futures at around 23,908. Right now, we are at 23,767. And we have a very lofty target, which technicals indicate, but I don't believe that this could happen. We could turn around even before that. The target is 25,924 for the cup and handle pattern. Now, let's go on to dollar index, which we saw is improving. It's got a support out here at 99,197. So I'm going to mark this green, and we'll move further ahead and go into indicators. S&P 500 is riding a support wave. So today the support is going to be at 6,353. We have the bearish divergence still intact, and the stock price seems to be rising. The index price seems to be responding to the bearish divergence, and we have seen 3 continuous red candles and at least 2 days of declines. But today is going to be a different story. We'll see what happens with the earnings of the Max 7. Likewise for NASDAQ, we are below this diagonal line of resistance, which is going to offer resistance at 23,680 today and a support at around 23,262 today. And we are starting to respond to the bearish divergence a little bit. In my opinion, yesterday was a doji candle, and it also was a drop from where we were opening yesterday. So overall, I think we are responding to the bearish divergence, which is a good thing. Our VIX is down 1.94% in the new market session today. And that means that the stock prices are likely to go up further. Gold is improving to 0.91, indicating that a little bit of safe haven activity is happening. And we have come to the middle point of this, this parallel channel. Let me just adjust it again. So we are touching the middle point of the parallel channel. If we break out on the upside, we have the resistance, which is going to be operating today at around 3,346. So sorry, that's going to be the resistance for today. QQQ is up 1.20% in pre-market trades. Support is going to be at around 563.38. Sorry about that. Something on my throat. Let's go to AI and look at a few select stocks. As I mentioned yesterday, the positive news about forward-looking AI infrastructure investments has pushed NVDA, and it has got to push AMD as well. Both of them are doing well, and therefore SMH should also go up, but SMH is down 0.36%. So there is some a semiconductor company which is dragging it down, some AI company. So let's look at SMCI and see if SMCI is the culprit. So SMCI is up to 0.59, so it's not the culprit. Broadcom is up 0.74, so that's not the culprit. So among the stocks that we track out here, at least the major ones, they are not the culprits. If you look at ARM, yes, this is where we have a huge drop of 7.6%. And it's being maintained at buy at Rosenblatt, and the earnings revenue was down 0.17%, but EPS was up 0.001%, just about scraped through. So I think we have seen, I think this is an overreaction. I would probably like to buy ARM and see a bounce back with a resistance somewhere at 161.93, unless there is some details in the earnings. I'm going to have a look at the earnings report and see if there are any major negatives that came out of it. And if you guys already know about it, please put it in the comment section. It will save me some time. And we have ASML, which is down 1.92%. Citronic cuts annual revenue guidance and shares fall. That's what it's saying out there. And we have earnings, which was pretty good. And we have dividends coming out, which was already done on 29th of July, a dividend of $1.57. So these are the factors which are pulling down SMH, in my opinion. Now let's go on to have a look at the companies that already reported. Google had reported, and on the day it reported, it fell, and then now it has traced its way back to where it was. And today again, it's a little bit down. It's down 0.56. So this is what I'm looking at as the model for Microsoft. I thought that it was going to be buy the rumor and sell the news. That did not happen. Price went up. So probably just like Google went up overnight and opened high in the morning, and then it went down. I'm expecting something similar for Microsoft. Not that it's going to fall to the bottom, but that's an opportunity for the shorting, and then it will probably gain again, just like Google did. So that's what I'm thinking, because our bearish divergence is still there. It's screaming out and saying that something is wrong out here. We are way ahead of where we should be. Well, I'm just going to take a brief look at the chat section to see what's happening. We have Hot Dog saying hi. Hello, Hot Dog. Good morning, and thanks for joining up this morning. So that is Hot Dog out there. And then Big Day, yes. India tariffs are a slap in the face for Apple. Yes, Trump is trying to get Apple to get out of India. Now, the thing is, if Apple manufactures anywhere, then India will put a tariff on that. So anyway, I am here mourning. So in, I had a Freudian slip out that I'm here moron. This is what I was reading. I'm sorry about that. No, I was thinking Trump is a moron. And sorry, good morning, good morning. It was the humor for the morning. Inf is saying Meta and Microsoft. Hot Dog is saying no deals have actually been signed. Only agreed in negotiation. Exactly, exactly. This is all voodoo out here. They're just showing some shiny objects here and there, like the magicians. They distract you somewhere and do something else. I mean, nothing major has happened. Meta and Microsoft running while brother as is the Nasdaq. Yeah, but watch out for what I'm saying. If I'm right, it will behave exactly like Google. Pre-market, it will be up, and then as the market opens, profit taking will start, and you have a big red candle, and then things can start improving. Yeah, it is indeed wild. Deepesh is saying, what's new? What's the view on CRISPR at current levels? Well, let's go and have a quick look at CRISPR and see what's happening with CRISPR at current levels. Of course, Deepesh, these are all my opinions as a retail investor. I'm not a financial advisor or anything of that sort. So what I'm thinking is that we have this regression line out here. I'm going to pull this regression line all the way up. So our regression line has moved up. The center point of that has moved up. This is acting as a magnet, pulling the price down. We broke out of the regression line somewhere around the 8th of July. And since then, we have gained. We had gained around 31%, and right now, with where we are, the gain is just around 4.78%. But if you look at the overall situation where we were, our gains from the 30th of May onwards, all the way up to, I would say, 21st of July, was 96%, which meant that people had to take profit. And as people start taking profit, there are those die-hard CRISPR stockholders who are thinking, no, I have held it for a long time and I have a profit of around 92%. Finally, my ship has come. So they are holding on. And there are profit takers who are taking profits. They are taking profits. And as it drops, then people are starting to worry, oh God, I had 98% profit. Now it has gone down all the way up to 57%. And it as well take this profit. So that's the psychology, I think, that is happening out there. So we are likely to gravitate back towards the median out here of this regression channel. And as the day goes by, we will expand the regression channel, and the regression channel will show us upward moving median. And then we are likely to come here and bounce back on the median. That's what is likely to happen. Because earlier I would have thought that it is a bull flag out here. No, it's not a bull flag. This was a bull flag which gave us the target. And now from there, we are dropping. And if we have a consolidation, that will become a bear flag. So I think that CRISPR is on the way down. So this is my personal opinion, Adit Deepesh. And if you guys have a different opinion, please mention that in the chat section. So I'm thinking the way forward is the way down with a little bit of consolidation and then down and so on until we come to the median. And from the median, we can start moving up. So that's my estimate. So that said, I would like to go and have a look at few stocks in the AI sector. I want to look at Google once again. So Google on earnings went up the pre-market session, and it opened high, and then it dropped. It was a solid candle. What are the chances that that may not happen to Microsoft? So which other company is going to report today? Amazon is going to report today. It's up 2.91%, not as lofty as Microsoft, but that's because of their retail area where the China impact is quite high. So I think that I'm on balance, I'm okay with Amazon. I think Amazon is not spectacular like Microsoft. So I think it's likely to retain the gains that it has got, at least for today. and maybe consolidate a little bit. Everything will depend on the forward guidance that they give. And again, if Amazon says that they're still going to pay more money for more AI infrastructure, that's going to boost the semiconductors. So I think today the play is in the semiconductors. They already got the tailwind from Microsoft and Meta. And I think if Microsoft and Meta are going to double down on AI infrastructure, then it goes without saying that the other Max 7 will also push money into AI infrastructure. And that's going to push the SMH up. That's going to push the NVDA and AMD stocks up. So that's where I would like to put my money today. And if you guys have any opinion, please mention that, because my strategy has changed a little bit. I got tired of waiting for the market to turn around with all those bearish divergence. So I'm going to go long for a little bit. I'm not reducing my shorts. I'm keeping my shorts, which are in deep red, but I'm going to have longs, and I'm going to be very alert and sell off the longs as soon as I see the slightest position of risk that's happening, that happens on the price chart. So that said, yeah, and Apple, I think Apple is getting a very bad situation. Probably, I think that all these Max 7 guys, they definitely have some dealings with Trump, and probably Apple is not towing the line. So Apple is going to get really beaten up until they submit. I think the crypto play by Trump probably, I think, is a conduit for all these companies to get into good graces with Trump. And that gives them some cutouts in all these tariffs and other things. That could be one way of looking at it and play the market that way. Apple probably has got to submit and do something that Trump wants, and then things will improve for Apple. And again, we have Tesla. If you see, Tesla has been dropping after the earnings. Of course, they didn't come up with that great anything. But again, there is a shiny object out there in Tesla. That is Robotaxi and Optimus. Nothing has been delivered out there. So that illusion, as it wears off, the stock price is going to come down with the support at 298. And Deepesh is saying, okay, Raj, my query was in the backdrop of slew of announcement possibly lined up by CRISPR for second half of the year. I want to hold it for rest of the year. Yeah, there is always a positive for CRISPR, because I personally am very bullish for CRISPR. But again, it is relative to where the price is at. The CEO had promised a whole lot of catalysts throughout the year. We haven't seen much as such. And there's a very good chance that in the earnings, you may get the catalyst. And let me go back to CRISPR. I want to see when the earnings are due. Earnings are due on the 11th of August. Yeah, I would probably buy CRISPR closer to 11th of August, expecting some kind of catalyst coming out during the earnings call. That would be quite possible, because these genomic companies, they keep everything close to their chest. They keep everything so close to their chest. If they were much more transparent in giving us updates on what's happening with their clinical trials and the data releases, and if they were a little bit more explanatory so that the average investor can understand what that data means, then the volatility would not be that high on these stocks. So given those things, again, I'm speculating out here, there may or may not be any catalyst in the earnings call. That could potentially be a promise of a catalyst in the next industry conference due maybe a week down the line or 15 days down the line. One doesn't know. So it's all purely speculative. And then we come again to the old adage, a bird in hand worth two on bush, right? So that's what I have done this year. I've taken all my profits wherever I could, and I'm keeping it in cash. Now, I've got a whole lot of shorts which are in the red. So that makes me feel probably I have to fine tune my trading strategy further to not only take profits as and when they happen, but to get out of shorts with minimum losses and try to enter again at a later date. I didn't do that. I treated my shorts as long-term investments. Now, how does that apply to CRISPR Therapeutics? Well, you have a profit out there. You could sell half of it and keep half the profit with you and half invested, so that if there's any upside that is coming up later, you can take that. And I learned that from Ashwath Damodaran, who is a valuation king. He's a professor, I think, in NYU, if I'm not mistaken. And he does that. When he thinks that valuations are going way, prices are going way beyond valuation, he just takes 50% of the profits. And his logic is that if prices fall, I would say, yeah, at least I book 50% of my profit. And if prices go up, he still has got 50% sitting there to gain the remaining. So one of those strategies could be something that you may look at. Hot Dog says, for me, I'm watching my investment in APLD today. I may sell out if this climbs to 18 or 20. Good luck, Hot Dog. I think you're playing it right with your shorts, I suppose, unlike me. I get to learn from you. Good luck. Keep us informed. And Dipesh is saying, any view on recent large size insider purchase? Now, all of these things, the large insider purchase is what triggered this entire jump out here. So we saw the jump on 10th of July. Okay. No, we saw the jump starting around 2nd of July, I would say. Let us go and have a look at when the insider purchase happened. Okay. Let's go and have a look at the insider purchase when it happened. Let's look at the news. Where is the news? Okay, let's click this. And but it's here the therapeutics report. Anybody has any idea when the insider purchase took place? Let me create a new one. I hope you guys are seeing my screen as it is. Let me go to the insider purchase last 6 months purchases. Okay, here. George Simeon, director, purchased at a price of 52.03 per share. Indirect, 51,000. Oh my God, that's a big amount. July 16th. Let's go back to the chart and see what happened on July 16th. So, July. So this is July 16th. And we had a huge spike. And then we came down and we are back to the price at which the director purchased, almost like what is around 52, if I'm not mistaken. What price did he buy at? He bought at 52.03. So where is 52.03? So 52.03 is somewhere out here. So yeah, all the gains that came up because of the insider purchase that have been given up. Now, that was speculation. Okay, some insider knows something that we don't know, and he's bought a huge amount of share at 53. So 53 is the bottom. Now, that's going to be a support, and we are going to move up, and we are come back down again. So I think CRISPR could fall down until 52.03 in anticipation of the earnings and potential catalyst. And if the catalyst come true to the expectation of the insider who bought that, then probably we may bounce back up again. Yeah, I think in the past, even I have been doing all those things in the past, but now I don't do that, because when you do those things, they're actually pure speculation. And it's like gambling. Once you're into speculation, it's like gambling, and the chances of losing money is much higher than the chances of gaining. There could be many reasons why the insider bought that many shares. So it's an indirect purchase. Maybe they had to purchase some ETF or something for some reason in their tax shelter account, and they decided to buy something that has got a big exposure to CRISPR therapeutics, because maybe the board wanted them to have a certain amount of exposure to CRISPR shares. I don't know. I'm just thinking out wildly out here, but there may be other reasons for buying it rather than just the catalyst itself. So I'm not saying that you're wrong, Dipesh. I'm just saying that I used to do that and I burnt my fingers, so now I don't do it. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing to do. You may even be laughing to the bank after the earnings come in, and I may be sitting here saying, oh my God, people are making money, and I'm sitting on the sidelines with cash. So, as a retail investor, I would confess that I'm no better than you or somebody else. So I would get something to learn from you, just like I learned from Hot Dog and Inv. So there you go. That's all I can add value to it, my friend. But thanks for the chat and thanks for asking those questions. And then the other one I want to look at is precision. So precision, let us see. I'm invested in this in a speculative position for a FDA approval in the third quarter. So it jumped 1.16%, around 2 cents. My price is 1.93. It's at 1.75. I'm at a little loss, but this diagonal line of support seems to be holding. So I'm happy with that. So that said, let's go back to AI and see if there's any other share that I want to see. I would like to look at Tempus AI for our friend Hot Dog. I don't know, Hot Dog, if you still have the stake. If you don't have it, then we don't have to cover this one. We are up 0.45% in Tempus AI. It's at 58.07. Our immediate resistance is going to be 59.24 for today. And support will be somewhere in the level of 55.84. So that's the rate for Tempus. Bearish sentiment. MACD almost ready to cross over to the bearish side. And yeah, you're out of Tempus for now. Okay, good. Yeah, so the Tempus is bearish right now. You've done the right thing, I believe. I just want to go to the bonds before we close out. Sorry for jumping from here to there. So you see the 10-year bonds, you have a reverse head and shoulder. Reverse head and shoulders, we have triggered the reverse head and shoulder. And I think the target for us should be, this is the neckline. So we could go all the way down to 4.187 for the 10-year. Likewise, we could determine some target for the 20 and the 30-year. Yields going down is really good for the stock market because money will rush back into the stock market, and it's pretty good. And Dipesh is saying, okay, thanks for your insights. Yeah, thank you very much, Dipesh. Good to hear from you. And thanks for joining the chat and the live stream. There are plenty of videos of genomics in our channel. I'm working on a few more, so keep watching. And if you're interested in the disease mechanism, how a disease works in the body, and how medicines and therapies are acting on it, and the latest for each disease, I've started a series on diabetes, which will include type 1, type 2, and the pregnancy-related temporary diabetes, and all the therapies, gene therapies, as well as small and big molecules, how they work. It's in our sister channel called ShareTreck. So the first one was released in that series, just the explainer of diabetes. Next one is going to be T1D. And of course, CRISPR therapeutics will figure out that because of that CTX 211, and then we'll have Vertex and other things. So we are expanding into the technicals of this on that other channel. Here it's more investment oriented. So you can check it out, ShareTreck, and subscribe there as well. Okay, guys, so that brings me to an end of today's session, friends. Do you have anything that you want to talk about, any specific tickers or stocks that you want me to have a look at, or any advice you want me to give, any idea that is working for you that you'd like to share with the community and with me so that we can also benefit? Please put that in the chat section. We're building a retail investor community where we share intelligence, and I would really look forward to your feedback. Benefits the entire community and me also. Okay, guys. So if you don't have any tips for us, thanks for joining. I'll go ahead and have my breakfast and get started for the day. So plan for today is I'm going to buy PLTU, a little bit of that. I'm going to buy, I already bought ZGLD on the Canadian side, which is a gold ETF, pure play gold. So I've already got that. I got plenty of cash sitting on the sidelines, and I'm going to buy a little bit of NVDA today on the Canadian side. So that is my idea, and I would be looking forward very carefully to liquidate them as soon as possible. And Yeah, I have some real estate investments as well. So one of my condos is going to come up for rent. So I got to go and paint the walls. So that's what I'm going to do for a good portion of the day. So I'll be checking on my iPhone to see what the levels are. But I think NVIDIA has got a run for today and tomorrow as the earnings unfold. So I'm just going to be on NVIDIA. That's it. And I have a TSNQ, which is a short on Tesla. I'm still holding on to it. I have MSFT, which is a short on Microsoft. I'm still holding on to it. Not throwing in the towel yet. So that's my plans. Bye, guys. See you later.